A bus is seen transporting children on a kindergarten field trip. The kindergarten is named Shin-Yun Kindergarten. Among the children, Sul-ji stands out in a princess gown while her classmates wear their school uniforms. The trip takes them to the seaside where they enjoy playing in the sand. However, after some time, Sul-ji looks up and realizes she has been left behind by her teacher and classmates. Unable to find her parents and stranded far from home, she is taken to an orphanage. Life there is harsh. She often forgets to eat, and no one reminds her. By the time she is ready for a meal, the other children have already gone to bed. Left with no choice, she drinks water to fill her stomach. Yet it never truly satisfies her hunger. The orphanage provides a minivan for commuting to school. However, her school life is far from easy. She faces bullying from her classmates. As she grows older, she secures a job through a brother she met at the orphanage. This so-called job involves selling drugs. He provides them with fake identity cards to procure medicine from pharmacies for resale. One day, after completing their usual buying and selling routine, he asks about her academics. She reveals that she ranks 15th in her class. Encouraging her, he tells her it's a fair position before asking about her future aspirations. When she admits she hasn't given it much thought, he introduces her to a drug. She begins taking the drugs, and her academic performance drastically improves. Slowly, she climbs to the top of her class. Along with her rising grades, she notices changes in how people treat her. The bullying stops, the nun at the orphanage starts bringing her food, and even switches on the AC for her while she studies. Realizing the advantages of being a top student, she becomes determined to maintain her position, relying on the drugs to help her concentrate. One night, after completing her usual drug trade, she informs her senior that she is moving to Seoul. She has finally found her father and plans to relocate permanently, leaving the job behind. Returning the fake identity card, Sul-ji transfers to one of Seoul's most prestigious schools, hoping to reconnect with her father. On the first day of her transfer, she had packed a long nylon of drugs and hid it inside a pillow. At the school orientation, Sul-ji meets an old woman at the entrance of the hall who wants to sell flowers. The woman refuses to leave until she sells all her flowers. Then, Yoo Jae-yi is introduced. She offers to buy the old woman's flowers, and everyone in the hall is astonished. At the orientation, Sul-ji finds out that her father is already dead. Yoo Jae-yi boasts about the infrastructure on the school premises, including their medical lab and elite courses with the highest acceptance rate to any university in the world. Sul-ji gets to the class with her belongings, and Yoo Jae-yi enters the classroom after the orientation, surprisingly sitting down beside Sul-ji. Other classmates were jealous because Yoo Jae-yi is the most powerful student in the school. At the toilet, a wealthy student and two of her friends meet Sul-ji and ask her to exchange seat with them. She offers to pay Sul-ji, but she refuses and exchanges for a better spot at the front of the class. Just as the girls were exchanging words, Yoo Jae-yi enters and asks Sul-ji to lunch with her, grabbing her hand and walking down the hallway. Jae-yi invites Sul-ji to lunch. At the cafeteria, Sul-ji realizes she never told Jae-yi about her plans, making her wonder how she found out. However, she brushes it off. Soon, she starts feeling disadvantaged compared to her classmates, who all take study pills at specific times. Observing them, she notices that unlike her peers, she neither has a tutor nor attends a cram school. Later, in class, she collects her belongings from her old seat and moves to the front, keeping her promise to swap seats with a classmate. When Jae-yi arrives, she questions why Sul-ji is sitting in the front and urges her to return, but Sul-ji makes an excuse about poor vision. Jae-yi suggests they sit together at the front, but Sul-ji declines, not wanting to inconvenience others. Disappointed, Jae-yi leaves. Meanwhile, the other students cast unsettling glances at Sul-ji, but she ignores them. After school, Sul-ji learns she will be staying with her recently widowed stepmother and attends her father's funeral. While searching through his luggage, she discovers that he had been looking for her ever since she went missing on a kindergarten trip. She also finds out that her mother died shortly after her disappearance. As she rummages through his belongings, she comes across his phone and decides to keep it. When she moves into her stepmother's apartment, her stepmother asks if she found her father's phone among his things. Sul-ji denies it. Her stepmother then describes the phone's model and tells her to hand it over if she ever comes across it. Sul-ji searches online for a second-hand school uniform since her teacher was displeased with her wearing her previous school's uniform on her first day. She eventually buys a second-hand uniform in terrible condition and takes it to a laundromat for cleaning. While there, She tries unlocking her father's phone with possible passwords. Just then, she receives a call on the phone but remains silent. The caller also stays silent before ending the call. The next day, at the cafeteria, she notices people laughing at her. A photo of her buying the shabby uniform has gone viral, making her the target of bullying. As she watches them laugh at her, it triggers memories of the severe bullying she endured at her previous school, which only stopped once she became the top student. As she is leaving the classroom, a classmate deliberately spills a drink on her uniform, mocking her and continuing to pour juice on her clothes. Later, while washing her uniform, Jae-yi offers her a spare one, but Seulgi rejects her offer with irritation, telling her that not everyone welcomes kindness. Back in class, the teacher distributes a test, and Seulgi struggles with it, soon realizing that the school assumes students have already learned the material at cram schools. Jae-yi notices Seulgi's struggle and smiles in an unsettling way. When the teacher announces the results, Jae-yi ranks first, while Seulgi fails the test. While in class, Seulgi receives a note containing leaked test questions identical to the ones from her exam. Considering her struggles, she contemplates attending a cram school. She visits one and consults a staff member about the tuition and class schedule. Shocked by the high fees, she thanks the staff and leaves. Just as she is about to exit, she notices a class in session and sneaks closer, attempting to secretly record it. However, she is caught by a staff member. Panicking, she rushes into an elevator to escape and unexpectedly bumps into Jae-yi. Without hesitation, Jae-yi gives Seulgi her cap and tells her to quickly hide on the rooftop. With Jae-yi's help, Seulgi manages to avoid being caught. Later, Jae-yi finds her on the rooftop, struggling with a panic attack as memories of past bullying resurface. Seulgi trembles uncontrollably until Jae-yi extends her hand toward her. Jae-yi's past is explored, focusing on how her father's obsession with success shaped her into who she is today. Determined to raise a remarkable child, he relied on everything from astrology to numerology, stopping at nothing to ensure academic excellence. He even meticulously calculated the time of Jae-yi's birth. Despite Jae-yi's natural talents, her father prioritized her older sister, who excelled academically. Fueled by this, Jae-yi pushed herself to the limit, studying relentlessly for 6 months without proper breaks to match her sister's achievements. At times, she even forgot to eat or had accidents while studying. Eventually, she surpassed her sister and finally caught her father's attention. Instead of acknowledging her success, her father instilled deep fear in her. He recounted the biblical story of Cain and Abel, warning her that there would always be someone waiting to undermine her. This fear led Jae-yi to distance herself not only from her sister but from others as well. She became convinced that her sister might betray or even harm her one day. As a result, she stopped going to school alongside her sister. In the present day, Jae-yi takes Seulgi to her father's hospital, where she and her 3 friends, Choi Gyeong and Ju Ye-ri, have designated study areas. Jae-yi offers Seulgi an extra school uniform, and this time, Seulgi accepts. When Seulgi asks why she's being kind to her, Jae-yi promises to explain once she wears the uniform. There's a brief, awkward moment when Jae-yi tries to help Seulgi with her buttons. After Seulgi changes, they hear footsteps and laughter. It's Choi Gyeong and Ju Ye-ri. As they enter, gossiping about Jae-yi's looks and speculating that she had plastic surgery, Jae-yi quickly hides Seulgi in the wardrobe. When they start talking about Seulgi's parents, Jae-yi covers Seulgi's ears to shield her from the hurtful words. Suddenly, Seulgi's phone rings, drawing Choi Gyeong and Ju Ye-ri's attention toward the wardrobe. Just as they are about to open it, Jae-yi quickly messages them, claiming she is downstairs and urging them to hurry and meet her, effectively diverting their attention. Seulgi takes the elevator down and encounters Jae-yi's father, who helps her zip up her bag. Seeing his face triggers a memory. There's a deeper connection between them. He had once treated Seulgi's father during surgery, and they had briefly met at the funeral home. On that day, he had explained the cause of her father's death to Seulgi and her stepmother, who fainted upon hearing the news. Afterward, Seulgi secretly followed the doctor and saw him embracing Jae-yi. Hiding behind a wall, she watched the interaction unfold. Beneath her tough exterior, Seulgi harbors a quiet longing for a real family, like any other child. The next day at school, Seulgi walks into class, and a classmate unexpectedly shows her kindness by giving her an origami figure. She notices that the girl she had swapped seats with on her first day is absent. Gathering her books, she approaches Jae-yi and asks if she can sit with her again. The entire class reacts with a mix of surprise and irritation. Without hesitation, Jae-yi agrees, pulling out a chair for Seol-ji as the other students observe with curiosity. Meanwhile, Nari, who has been bullying Seol-gi and is Jae-yi's seatmate, skips class, which leads Yeri to feel suspicious about her absence. Yeri meets Seol-gi at the school clinic and tries to convince her that she is just the next toy of Jae-yi and that she should be careful. Later, the teacher comes in and asks them to vote for the class president Riley. Jae-yi puts Seol-ji's name forward for the class monitor position, a role that Choi-gyung had hoped to obtain to enhance her chances for university applications. With Jae-yi's strong endorsement, she had already promised her she is going to support her at being the class president. Seol-ji manages to win the votes, defeating Choi-gyung. Enraged, Choi-gyung throws a fit, claiming that the election was unfairly conducted, yet she fails to provide any evidence to support her claim. Ultimately, Jae-yi stands up for Seol-ji again and asks her to apologize to the class for her outburst. In another scene, Jae-yi's father is dealing with accusations of medical negligence and advises his employees that the matter should be handled privately and settled without drawing attention. Meanwhile, Seol-gi persists in attempting to unlock her father's phone when she receives a text from Jae-yi asking to get together. Jae-yi meets at a restaurant with one of their classmates to have a quick talk. Jae-yi keeps her waiting but later finds her at a karaoke bar. They sing together, walk on a bridge, and Seol-ji tells her she never believed Jae-yi would show up for their hangout, that she is often forgotten, so she didn't bother waiting for people. Jae-yi promises that she is not the type to break promises. They talk for a while. Then Jae-yi offers for Seol-ji to sleep at her house. They have fun before heading back for a sleepover. In another scene, Yeri is exercising outside when she sees two women walking and overhears a rumor regarding Nari's family selling their house for an unusually low amount, which raises her curiosity. At Jae-yi's home, Seol-ji is surprised at the ocean theme of Jae-yi's room, as they both have the same taste. Jae-yi and Seol-ji connect over their mutual appreciation for the sensation of being submerged underwater before getting ready for bed. Jae-yi's dog brings out the kind of princess dress Seol-ji wore the day she got lost on the beach. She tells Jae-yi her story, and they hug. That night, Seol-ji is inside the bathtub when Jae-yi joins her to have a steamy bath, but it later ends up as a dream. Seol-ji dreams of kissing Jae-yi while in the bath and wakes abruptly, hurrying to the bathroom. She returns to the room to spot a notification on Jae-yi's phone from Nari, urging her to erase a video and to forgive her. She takes her phone and starts reading the messages carefully to avoid making noise. She sees a video and pictures of Jae-yi bullying one of their classmates, leaving Seol-ji in disbelief. Meanwhile, Choi-gyung is independently investigating a case against Jae-yi's father concerning medical negligence. The focus shifts to Choi-gyung's background. She was consistently the second-best student in her class and tried to eliminate any competition. However, her struggles intensified after Jae-yi enrolled at her school. Unlike her previous rival, Jae-yi not only excelled academically, but was also well-liked by her classmates, making Choi-gyung feel increasingly overshadowed. In the present, Seol-gi discovers images of her personal documents and information about her father on Jae-yi's phone. Shocked, she considers deleting them, but ultimately decides against it. Quickly leaving Jae-yi's house, she is gone by the time Jae-yi wakes up in the morning. Later, the situation escalates when it is revealed that Jae-yi secretly placed a tracking device on Seol-ji's phone. That morning, Jae-yi has breakfast with her father before heading to school. He asks about her friend who stayed over, and she casually responds that Seol-ji already left. Their conversation then shifts to Jae-yi's sister. The next day, Seol-gi achieves the highest score for her autobiographical paper, but shows little interest in sharing the news. When Jae-yi asks to see her essay or score, Seol-gi declines, and Jae-yi respects her choice, instead suggesting they go to the cafeteria. However, her essay mysteriously disappears from her bag. Yeri had stolen it, made photocopies, and after lunch, students find copies of the essay placed on their desks. Seol-gi searches for her original essay, only to realize that someone has distributed it, exposing her past experiences in the orphanage. Meanwhile, Yeri struggles to afford her harp lessons, revealing cracks in the perfect image she presents. In frustration, her instructor decides to stop teaching her. Desperate, Yeri kneels, begs, and ultimately bribes the teacher with a Chanel luxury backpack. Jae-yi attempts to prevent their classmates from reading Seol-ji's essay, but the damage is already done. Seol-ji asks to speak with Jae-yi privately, and questions why Jae-yi seems more upset about the essay's exposure than she does. Seulgi then confronts Jae-yi directly, making it clear that she knows about the photos on her phone. As tensions rise, a darker truth comes to light. Jae-yi had previously blackmailed Nari with a drug-related video, forcing her to leave the school. It was because of this video that Nari had been pleading with Jae-yi and sent the message the previous night. Seulgi demands answers about how Jae-yi has managed to gather so much personal information about her. A flashback reveals Jae-yi sneaking into her father's office in search of something. While looking around, she stumbles upon a document linking Seulgi and her father. She takes photos of it, explaining how she initially obtained information about Seulgi. In the present, Jae-yi chooses to remain silent about what she knows regarding Seulgi's father's death, evading Seulgi's persistent questions. In an unexpected turn, Seulgi challenges Jae-yi to guess who distributed and photocopied her essay for the entire class. Jae-yi struggles to believe it, but Seulgi openly admits to being responsible. She expresses no regrets, emphasizing that she is neither ashamed of being an orphan nor of growing up in an orphanage. During class, students question Seulgi about the authenticity of her essay and whether she truly lived in an orphanage. Choi Gyung snaps at them to be quiet, then approaches Seulgi, reminding her of a meeting they must attend. At the class representatives meeting, Choi Gyung keeps glancing at Seulgi. When Seulgi notices and urges her to speak up, Choi Gyung surprises her by mentioning her father's name. Shocked that she knows it, Seulgi demands to know how. Choi Gyung reveals that Jae-yi's father's clinic is involved in a malpractice lawsuit and speculates that Jae-yi's sudden interest in Seulgi might be connected to the case. After the meeting, Choi Gyung advises Seulgi to ask her stepmother for the truth. Later, while cleaning the house, Seulgi notices her stepmother is not home. Seizing the opportunity, she searches through her belongings and finds the case file along with her father's insurance documents. During dinner, she nearly confronts her stepmother about the suspicious circumstances of her father's death, but instead requests to stay until she finishes her college entrance exams. As midterms approach, Seulgi grows increasingly anxious about keeping up academically, especially without access to expensive cram school resources. Struggling to focus for long periods, she attempts to refill her prescription, but finds it difficult to locate a doctor willing to provide it. Desperate, she wanders from store to store in search of alternative pills. During her search, she receives a call from a friend from the orphanage urgently asking for money, but Seulgi hangs up. Feeling drained and desperate, she stumbles upon an SNS account selling drugs. She sends a direct message, and the account responds, requesting a code. Seeing their profile picture of origami birds, she recalls receiving a similar one from a classmate. Upon opening it, she finds the code hidden inside. Meanwhile, Yeri visits a hostess bar, revealing her secret attempts to earn money for college tuition. The woman at the bar, noticing Yeri's expensive purse, questions why she needs a job despite her seemingly luxurious lifestyle. Yeri insists that she needs the money for her tuition. As she leaves the bar, she encounters a man showing people a photo, asking if they have seen the girl in the picture. When Yeri looks at the image, she recognizes Jaina and asks the man what she did, but he refuses to share any details. It is revealed that Jae-yi is involved in the drug trade, stealing pills from her father's supply and personally delivering one to Seulgi at their meeting spot. However, Seulgi has been secretly waiting to catch the person delivering the drugs and is unsurprised to see Jae-yi. Jae-yi admits she rarely meets her clients in person, but made an exception for Seulgi. She informs her that the drug Seulgi originally wanted is unavailable but offers a stronger substitute instead. Seulgi hesitates, concerned about potential side effects. To persuade her, Jae-yi hands Seulgi a cram school textbook and proposes a wager. If Seulgi scores higher than her on the upcoming test, she will reveal how she obtained Seulgi's personal information. Feeling the weight of her academic struggles, Seulgi gives in and takes the drug. As it takes effect, she experiences hallucinations of rushing water and becomes intoxicated. A closer look at Yeri's past reveals that her mother, who previously worked at a hostess bar, often faced protests from Yeri, who would perform at bars whenever her mother was working. Encouraging Yeri's passion, her mother urged her to pursue a career as a child actress in the entertainment industry. However, Yeri's perception of power shifted when she accidentally witnessed her mother involved in a casting couch situation to secure a role for her. Instead of being horrified, Yeri used this secret to gain control over her mother, realizing at a young age that knowledge, especially hidden truths about others, was a crucial tool for wielding power. Over time, she perfected this skill, crafting an impeccable public image while secretly observing those around her and gathering confidential information. In the present, Yeri encounters Jae-yi's father one morning while he is jogging and proposes a deal. She reveals that she knows he is searching for Jaina and deliberately avoiding the police, likely due to the illegal nature of the situation, which is why he hired a private detective. She hints at knowing Jae-yi's sister's hidden secret in exchange for money. Jae-yi's father tells her he will consider how useful she can be to him. Meanwhile, Jae-yi instructs one of her classmates to temporarily halt the school's drug trade. On the day of the midterm exams, an unexpected turn of events unfolds. Seol-ji is shocked to find that the exam questions match the material Jae-yi had previously shared with her. When the results are released, both she and Jae-yi achieve the top scores, stirring jealousy among their classmates. Choi Gyung is fuming with anger, and the other students cast awkward glances at Seol-ji. However, Seol-ji's past soon catches up with her when Nam Byung-jin, a man who once hired her to distribute drugs, confronts her. He appears at her school just as Yeri is arriving and notices him waving at Seol-ji. He instructs her to meet him at a clothing shop where he inquires about a friend who had called her, though Seol-ji knows nothing about it. He then demands that she return the pills she took from him at her previous school within a week or face severe consequences. As if things weren't difficult enough, the school enforces mandatory health checkups immediately after the exams. Seol-ji, who had used drugs to enhance her academic performance, realizes that submitting her urine sample could expose her. She tries to convince the teacher to let her skip the checkup, but her request is denied. In her desperation, she receives a message from Jae-yi, who claims to have exactly what she needs, and instructs her to come to the rooftop. However, before Seol-ji can get there, Jae-yi deliberately sends her in the wrong direction multiple times, ensuring the CCTV captures her movements elsewhere. On her knees, Seol-ji begs Jae-yi for help, admitting that getting into university is her only chance at survival. In response, Jae-yi hands her a different urine sample and reassures her that she has always looked out for her and has no plans to stop. Then, Seol-ji angrily demands to know how Jae-yi managed to obtain her documents again, especially since they both tied for first place. Jae-yi, having previously promised to tell her, finally reveals that she got the information from her father's desk. To everyone's surprise, she also expresses her happiness about sharing the top spot with Seol-ji, indicating a possible change in their relationship. The students undergo a medical procedure while under general anesthesia. During this time, Seol-ji finds herself in a vivid dream, recalling a memory from her childhood at the beach when she was lost and searching for her father. She could see her father. She keeps shouting his name but could not hear her. In this dream, Jae-yi shows up and assists her younger self. As the situation unfolds, while everyone is sleeping due to the medicine the nurses had given them, Yeri wakes up and takes the key to open Seol-ji's private wardrobe. Just then, Jae-yi wakes up and becomes increasingly suspicious of Yeri's actions, but she fails to catch her red-handed while Seol-ji is still unconscious. Later, during the school festival, Seol-ji and Jae-yi enjoy each other's company, briefly escaping the chaos surrounding them. They were having Coca-Cola and chicken. She poured a drink for Jae-yi, but her father stops her from drinking, saying all the disadvantages of taking soda and eating greasy meat. Jae-yi could not believe that Seol-gi stands up to her father, and she is even more surprised with the look on his face. However, Yeri is engaged in her own secretive scheming. Earlier, she had secretly taken Seol-ji's father's phone, but before she can explore its contents, the battery dies. In need of a charger, she strikes a deal with a classmate who is high at the time, the same individual who purchases study-enhancing drugs from Jae-yi, exchanging a coveted invitation to a blind date event for a charger. Also at the same time, Choi Gyung is looking for Seol-ji to provide her with updates regarding her father's case, but she instead encounters Yeri, who persuades her to go on a blind date with Byung-jin. During their date, Byung-jin discreetly hands Choi Gyung a drug, directing her to deliver it to Seol-ji. After their meeting, Yeri leaves Seol-ji's father's phone charging under a table and heads to meet Jae-yi's father. In a surprising turn of events, it becomes clear that he was behind the request for the phone. Meanwhile, Jae-yi has instructed a classmate to follow Yeri. She takes a picture Yeri and Jae-yi's father and sent it to Jae-yi, and upon discovering their strange meeting, she abruptly departs, leaving Seol-gi alone with Choi Gyung. Eventually, Seol-gi reconnects with Choi Gyung, only to discover that her phone has gone missing. Fortunately, Jae-yi finds it inside the blind dating tent. She receives a mysterious call, but the caller does not speak. Driven by curiosity, she rushed to the toilet and locks herself inside. She unlocks the phone with a password based on Solji's missing persons flyer that she had snapped on her phone. The password to the phone is the date that Solji went missing. What she uncovers is startling. A video showing her sister, Jaena, having sex with Solji's father, accompanied by threatening text messages, extorting him with the footage. As this revelation comes to light, chaos ensues elsewhere. The student who was promised a spot at the blind date reacts violently after being denied what she was promised. In a frenzy, she brandishes a knife and begins to threaten others. She threatens to stab Yeri for looking down and treating her like she does not matter. Just then, she looks at Solgi angrily, and the situation intensifies when she injures Solgi in the shoulder, and she cut Yeri a bit in her hand. In another room, Jae stands by the window shocked by what was happening outside when the door to the room she is in suddenly opens. And just like that, Jae has her long-lost sister in front of her in the school counselor's office. The focus shifts to Jaena's history, talking about how she had changed. Once a caring sister who intentionally allowed Jae to triumph to bring her joy, everything changed when Jae became independent. With their father's attention exclusively on Jae, Jaena experienced feelings of neglect. In a state for acknowledgement, she faked her health problems to attract sympathy. The pivotal moment arrived when her father pledged to concentrate on her, if she excelled academically. Motivated by the desire for his approval, Jaena grew increasingly anxious and resorted to drugs to boost her scholastic performance. Ultimately, one night as she could not sleep and is under the influence of drugs, she escalated her actions by breaking into her school to swipe a test paper. However, Solji's father caught her in the act. She fainted when she sees Solji's father, and instead of turning her in, he assured her he would remain silent. Taking advantage of the situation, Jaena seduced him, beginning an affair. Unknown to her, the security camera in the room captured everything, with her father, Yoo Tae-jun, watching from the other side. The story then shifts to the present, where Jae-yi encounters Jaena. Jaena asks if she has seen the content inside the phone. She replied yes, and Jae-yi asks if their father knows about it. Jaena answers yes also. With all effort to get back Jae-yi's phone, Jaena jumps at her and tries to snatch the phone from her, causing the phone to slip from their grasp and tumble out of the window. Before Jaena can retrieve it, security arrives, compelling her to escape. In the meantime, Jae-yi successfully retrieves the phone. In another part of the school, disorder unfolds as Seul-ji is assaulted by the drugged student, forcing the school into lockdown. While hiding in a room, Yeri overhears discussions linking the attack to substance abuse. Also, while everyone is panicking and rushing up and down, Choi Gyeong secretly takes the weapon used in the attack, anticipating the school may attempt to suppress the incident. However, when she gets home with her mother, she notices she is carrying something and she searched her. Then her mother intervenes and seizes the knife. Jae-yi learns of Seul-ji's condition and hurries to her father's hospital where he is treating her. Her father is just about to stitch her wounds when Jae-yi walks in. Her father asks her if she would like to stitch Seul-ji's arm. She takes the stitching tools and stitch satisfying her father's desires. Meanwhile, the school conducts a comprehensive drug search. Jae-yi's business associate Cho A-ra begins to panic as a video showcasing Seul-ji's attack goes viral, fearing their identities might be revealed. When Seul-gi finally regains consciousness, Jae-yi confronts her regarding her father's inappropriate relationships with students. She tells her she heard rumors of her father sleeping with a student. However, Seul-ji is offended by what Jae-yi says. Angrily, she stands up and storms away. Later, Byung-jin calls Seul-gi to the hospital to pick up pain medication. While there, Seul-ji witnesses a body bag being transported into Jae-yi's father's clinic under his supervision. Her curiosity got the best of her, and she decides to investigate further. Jaena kidnaps Jae using a shock device to incapacitate her. While Jae is unconscious, Jaena searches her for a phone, but comes up empty-handed. When Jae regains consciousness, Jaena demands the phone that belongs to Seul-ji's father. She strongly suspects that their father, Tae-jun, murdered Seul-ji's father after uncovering their relationship and is secretly gathering evidence against him. Meanwhile, Seul-gi stumbles upon a corpse at Jae's father's clinic while on a call with a man harassing her from the orphanage. When she meets Tae-jun, Jae's father appears completely unfazed by her presence in the room with the body. He later explains that the remains belong to unclaimed individuals without families or financial resources. He admits to using them for surgical practice, arguing that since these bodies are a burden to district offices, his actions remain unnoticed. He even offers Seul-ji a chance to practice, emphasizing that, as a medical school applicant, she shouldn't fear blood or corpses. However, Seul-ji, disturbed by the situation, quickly leaves the room. The next day, detectives arrive at the school to question students about a recent drug-related case. Seul-ji's stepmother drops her off and advises her not to easily accept apologies from others. Seul-ji is then brought into a room along with Beom-soo and her parents. Realizing they are trying to corner her, she calls for her stepmother, who promptly returns to the school and introduces herself as Seul-ji's guardian before taking a seat. When Beom-soo is questioned about the drugs, she points at Seul-ji, accusing her of being the supplier. The detectives present Seul-ji with CCTV footage showing her near the pharmacy at Jae-yi's father's hospital, making her suspect that Jae-yi set her up during the urine sample exchange. This leads Seul-ji to reveal that the actual drug operation is connected to Jae-yi. Shortly after, Jae-yi learns that Seul-gi has implicated her. Meanwhile, Seul-ji confronts her classmates over their harassment, but unexpectedly, Jae-yi steps in to support her. However, Byung-jin soon arrives at the school to take Seul-gi away. It turns out Seul-gi never actually consumed the painkillers. Instead, she was collecting them to pass on to Byung-jin. Byung-jin, aware that a high school student is behind the drug trade, intends to use Seul-gi to place an order and provide her social media details in an attempt to track down the dealer. Elsewhere, Jae-yi manages to avoid police scrutiny thanks to her father's influence. When she confronts Taejun about targeting Seul-gi, he issues a threat against her. Later, she discovers that Cho Ah-ra orchestrated a trap, coaxing Seul-gi into selling drugs via social media before tipping off the police. The plan is to frame Seul-gi entirely for the drug case. Upon learning this, Jae-yi rushes out of the school. Meanwhile, Byung-jin has set up a sting operation, coercing Seul-gi into meeting him at Gangnam Station to catch the drug dealer. Jae-yi offers Jina a deal. If she comes to Gangnam Station, she will return the phone. Simultaneously, she discreetly alters the meeting location in a message sent to Seul-ji's account. Jaina agrees and arrives at the original location, where she unexpectedly finds the drugs. As she grabs them and tries to escape, Byung-jin mistakenly assumes she is the real dealer and chases after her, just as the police arrive. Meanwhile, Jae-yi manages to locate Seul-ji and helps her get away. A disturbing story about Taejun reveals his long-standing obsession with dissecting living creatures, fueled by an unquenchable desire to find their hearts. It is shown, while he was eating, he would stab the fish he was given until he can see its heart. This fascination led him to pursue a career as a surgeon, convinced of his uniqueness. However, his world shifts when he observes similar tendencies in his daughter, Jae-yi, and believes they share a special connection as chosen ones, leading to a troubling relationship between them. In the present, Jae-yi manages to rescue Seul-ji just in time, due to the tracking device on her, but she soon discovers that Jaina is missing. After tracing her whereabouts, Jae-yi rushes to Jaina's home and finds her phone left unattended on the desk. The following day, a scandal breaks at school when a video of Nari using drugs circulates among students. Meanwhile, detectives present critical CCTV footage and seek assistance in identifying a suspect. In a surprising turn of events, Jae-yi steps forward and implicates her sister, Jaina, in the drug incident. She convinced the police that Jaina have always used drugs so she can study, and is so addicted to it now that she cannot stop, motivated by her desire to prompt the police to locate Jaina quickly. Seul-gi confronts, and she said it's better for the police to focus on finding Jaina than for her to implicate her father now. Determined to find out the truth, Jae-yi and Seul-gi scrutinize the CCTV from the day Jaina arrived at school, uncovering that Choi Gyung met with her that day. They track Choi Gyung to a spot near Seul-gi's house. Jae-yi asks Seul-gi to call and ask her where she is. Seul-gi calls her, but she lies about her location, which prompt them to follow her, where they learn she has been secretly informing Seul-ji's stepmother about her father's murder. Choi Gyung explained to them that the CCTV they saw, Jaina just met up with her to ask if she knows Seul-ji. Jae-yi receives a strange call from someone claiming to know Jaina's location, demanding 30 pills in exchange for the details. With few options, Jae-yi, Seul-ji, and Choi Gyung disguise themselves and head to the specified bar, planning to hide the pills in the men's restroom and watch from a distance. Seul-ji stays outside the toilet and monitors the drug they had hidden, Just then, a suspect walks in. Seulgi notifies both Jae-yi and Choi-gyong. As Seulgi and Jae-yi follow a suspicious person, Choi-gyong approaches the restroom. In a shocking revelation, Jae-yi and Seulgi unexpectedly encounter Byung-jin, while Choi-gyong discovers that the mysterious caller is actually Ye-ri. As everyone learns about Ye-ri's connection with Tae-jun, Ye-ri explains that her family's bankruptcy left her in dire need of money, forcing her to live in a sauna for a while. Seulgi expresses her gratitude to Ye-ri for being honest. Ye-ri feels irritated that she is being nice to her even though she stole her father's phone. Meanwhile, Byung-jin, who has joined the group, realizes that Jae-yi controls the drug trade. He suspects that Soo-jin, one of his girls, sold the fake IDs he used to acquire prescription drugs to Jae-na. In the meantime, they discover that Jae-na has died. Jae-yi and Seulgi go to Jae-yi's father's hospital to see her body, which appears to be the result of a suicide attempt, as she jumped from a mountain, rendering her face unrecognizable. However, Seulgi notices a yellow-painted fingernail and a scar on the foot, which piques her interest. Byung-jin sneaks into Jae-na's hospital room and uncovers his hidden fake ID cards. After Jae-na's death, Seulgi finds it hard to concentrate. Choi-gyong receives a chance to pursue a medical career, but must maintain her good student image, especially with the ongoing investigations involving Jae-yi and Seulgi. To protect her reputation, Choi-gyong sneaks into the CCTV room, where Ye-ri catches her deleting after-hours footage from school. It's also revealed that Choi-gyong previously witnessed Jae-na and Seulgi's father involved in a sexual encounter, but chose to keep silent. She found them out because she is going to the school at night to masturbate inside the class, to relieve tension. She went on her business and she was about to leave the premises when she heard two people talking, and that's when she found out about their affair. Meanwhile, Jae-yi experiences a nightmare about killing her sister. Seulgi visits her and finds her in a delicate emotional state, blaming herself for her sister's death. Jae-yi tells her about the story of Abel and Cain that her father had told her when she was a kid. She thought her sister is out to kill, but it later turns out she is the one that killed her sister. Seulgi talks to her and tells her it was not her fault, and then hugged her. Determined to find the truth, Seulgi starts to track down Soo-jin. She remembers seeing Soo-jin's foot scar after a bullying incident. She had gone for a public shower crying when Soo-jin notices the burn on her shoulder and tells her to get a tattoo on it, and she showed her her own scar on her leg, which resembles the scar on the body that was thought to be Jae-na's. Seulgi sets out to validate her theory and meets someone from Soo-jin's rehab center, who guides her to Soo-jin's apartment. Also at the same time, Ye-ri and Choi-gyong investigate the school's medical lab, recalling that Jae-na was last seen there during the school festival. They searched around for clues, and they find a clue in the lab connected to Taejun's medical center. A piece of paper with a private address, a room key, and a room number. Meanwhile, Seulgi visits Soo-jin's apartment and learns of her death. The owner discovered her lifeless body in her room and is troubled about how to handle the money she left behind. Seulgi also finds out that someone has already paid Soo-jin's rent and debts. The owner describes the person that paid her bills. He says the guy looks like a thug. As she is about to leave the building, she meets Choi-gyong and Ye-ri. Seulgi then reunites with them, and the three enter Jae-na's room, which is filled with math problem answers. Choi-gyong calls Jae-na weird. She had solved math problems on all the walls in her room. As they entered the room, Seulgi discovers a locked diary and decide to break it open. A flashback into Jae-na's life unfolds through her diary, which Seulgi has discovered. Throughout her life, Jae-na battled feelings of inferiority compared to Jae-yi and went to extreme measures to gain her father's approval, even engaging in an inappropriate relationship with Seulgi's father. This allowed Tae-jun to manipulate Seulgi's father by blackmailing him into leaking the final math exam questions to Jae-na. Tae-jun also assures him that he will assist in locating his long-lost daughter. While Seulgi's father and other staff members are being transported to the location where they will finalize the exam questions, he receives a message from Tae-jun claiming to have found his daughter, accompanied by a photo of Seulgi. This revelation fuels his determination, prompting him to commit the toughest exam questions to memory after the meeting. He later records them, hides the notes inside a pill, and swallows it. Feigning illness, he arranges to be taken to Tae-jun's clinic, where the pill is surgically retrieved. During this procedure, it is revealed that Jae-na was present. In the present, mourners gather for Jae-na's funeral, including Jae-yi's mother, who has been estranged from Jae-na's father. After the ceremony, Jae-yi goes to view the body, with Seulgi following closely behind. Seulgi remarks that Jae-yi must be feeling the same emotions as she does. She then reveals that both Sujin and Jaina were involved in certain matters. However, Jae-yi insists on keeping Jaina's fake death a secret, fearing that her father might resort to alternative methods to execute his plans. With Jae-yi's assistance, Seol-ji disguises herself as a cleaner, while Jae-yi enters the CCTV control room to alter footage of Seol-ji entering the office. She convinces the security guards that it was per her mother's instructions, ensuring that her father remains unaware. Meanwhile, Seol-ji sneaks into Taejun's office and discovers a vinyl record embedded with an X-ray of her father. Overcome with shock and disbelief, she attempts to confront Taejun, but her stepmother intervenes, cautioning her against acting recklessly, insisting that the matter should not be handled aggressively. Following the funeral of the fake Jaina, Seol-ji spots Byung-jin and learns that he was the one who settled Sujin's debts. His attendance at the funeral for Sujin's sake confirms Seol-ji's suspicions. Jaina is still alive. Seol-ji and her stepmother seek legal counsel from Choi-gyung's mother, who informs them that the vinyl record cannot be used as evidence. Although Seol-ji confesses to having seen her father with Jaina, Choi-gyung's mother discourages her from involving Choi-gyung in the case. At this point, the stepmother reveals that she has long noticed Jaina's presence around them since her late husband's passing. She explains that Jaina had been gathering evidence to prove that Seol-ji's father was murdered by Taejun. She then presents the letters she has been receiving since her husband's death. As Choi-gyung hesitates upon seeing the letters, her mother stops her from speaking up. Meanwhile, Yeri, noticing the exchange, secretly records their conversation without anyone realizing it. Elsewhere, Yeri and Byung-jin grow closer and begin collaborating. Yeri has now become a drug distributor and enters into a business deal with Byung-jin. Later, Byung-jin hands Taejun a recording, demanding that he uphold a promise. As Seol-ji discreetly follows them, an unexpected figure appears from behind, covering her mouth. Jae-yi approaches Seol-ji, and they discover that the recording was a setup by Yeri. The footage contains Seol-ji's voice mentioning Jaina's recording of the surgery. However, this is all part of Taejun's elaborate plan to trap them. Seol-ji decides to track Taejun closely, waiting for the right moment to follow him and uncover Jaina's whereabouts. Meanwhile, as wiretapping devices have been planted throughout the area, Jae-yi suspects that one may be concealed in her dog's collar. Her suspicion grows stronger when she realizes Taejun had knowledge of her earlier conversation with Jaina. Upon reviewing the footage, she removes the device from her dog's collar and discovers footage of her mother arguing with her father about a tape containing evidence of Seol-ji's father and Jaina engaging in an illicit act. She learns that her father had arranged for her mother to confront Jaina to bring her to her senses. The next day, Seol-ji and Jae-yi decide to track Jae-yi's mother, believing she might lead them to Jaina. They also inform Choi-gyung to notify her mother about their plan to have Jaina testify in court later that day. However, this turns out to be a deception, as following Jae-yi's mother leads them nowhere, and they fail to locate Jaina. As Seol-ji and Jae-yi part ways, Seol-ji's stepmother grows suspicious of Jae-yi, believing she is interfering in their affairs. She warns Seol-ji about how Jae-yi always seems to be involved in everything surrounding her. While discussing this, their car suddenly malfunctions, leading to an accident. Jae-yi receives a notification from Taejun about the incident. It is later revealed that Taejun had installed a camera inside their car, allowing him to monitor them. After taking the car to a mechanic, they discover that someone deliberately sliced the tire in half, confirming that it was a planned attempt on their lives, most likely orchestrated by Taejun. At the same time, Taejun takes Jae-yi to a hidden location where Jaina is being held captive. Jaina appears disoriented, with a tracking device strapped to her ankle that prevents her from escaping without triggering an alarm. She is visibly in poor condition. Taejun then reveals a shocking truth. Jaina was the one who killed Seol-ji's father. He explains that Jaina injected Seol-ji's father, hoping to impress him. He claims that he isolated her because he was tired of dealing with her mess and even erased a portion of her memories. Jae-yi struggles to believe that Jaina could have done such a thing. The next day at school, the teacher arrives to begin class. Seol-ji asks why Jae-yi is absent, but the teacher responds that she should know best since they are best friends. Growing anxious over Jae-yi's absence, Seol-ji searches for her and eventually finds her at her father's clinic. Initially, she is denied entry. When she finally meets Jae-yi on the rooftop, Jae-yi tells her to stay away. In a shocking revelation, Jae-yi confesses that she deliberately befriended Seol-ji as a litmus test to expose her father's crimes. She coldly states that she was never truly Solji's friend and warns her not to continue searching for Jaina. Solji wakes up from a strange dream about bubbles and water, feeling unwell and unstable. Her condition affects her performance on the exam, placing her in 20th position. Meanwhile, Jae-yi ranks 15th, while Choi-gyong secures the top spot. Determined to improve, Jae-yi asks her father for challenging questions that could appear on the college entrance exam. She confronts him about how he had previously manipulated Jae-yi's father to obtain the exam questions for Jaina. Just as he helped Jaina before, he agrees to do the same for Jae-yi. Seulgi discovers that her stepmother has settled the case, leaving her frustrated. She visits the columbarium, shatters the glass, and retrieves Suji's remains. Taejun is notified about the incident and calls Seulgi to confront her. Eventually, he offers her access to the final exam questions in exchange for something, but Seulgi responds with a cryptic smile. Meanwhile, Byung-jin and Ye-ri continue working together. Byung-jin learns that Choi-gyong has taken the top spot in the class. Later, he finds Ye-ri feeling drowsy at a pedestrian crossing and gives her a packet of pills. Seulgi tries to contact Jae-yi but fails. She then blackmails Cho-A-ra into helping her find Jae-yi. When she finally locates Jae-yi at the swimming pool, she threatens to jump in if Jae-yi refuses to talk to her. Jae-yi realizes that Taejun is determined to help Seulgi and understands he won't back down. She suggests that they manipulate Seulgi into stealing the exam questions herself. Taejun agrees, and Seulgi approaches the math teacher responsible for setting the questions. She blackmails him, while someone secretly photographs their exchange as evidence. Ye-ri's drug business thrives, but Choi-gyong soon discovers she has been rejected from the university's medical program. At school, Ye-ri realizes that Choi-gyong is one of her drug customers. However, she refuses to sell to her, insisting it's for her own good. As they discuss Choi-gyong's private lesson tutor, Seulgi happens to overhear their conversation, but neither of them acknowledges it further. Seulgi notices a strand of white hair on Choi-gyong's socks and follows her home, only to find Jae-yi's dog there. She recalls how Jae-yi always prepares for situations in advance to minimize emotional distress. Realizing something is wrong, she rushes to the pool, desperately calling out Jae-yi's name. Seulgi rushes to the swimming pool. It is then shown that since Jae-yi and Seulgi met, she had jumped into the water and Jae-yi saves her. At that moment, Seulgi tells Jae-yi to use her as a distraction to trap Taejun into committing his past crimes, so she can prove that Taejun is responsible for her father's death. Jae-yi wants to use Taejun's old tricks on him. She introduces Seulgi to an exam committee in the school, as Taejun had done with Jaina. Then she becomes suspicious. She realizes that one of the hospital staff has been assigned as one of the exam-setting committee. It is shown that Jae-yi did not give Seulgi drugs. Instead, she had given her vitamins and secretly submitted an application letter on Seulgi's behalf. Later, Seulgi meets Byung-jin. He tells her that he was the one that punctured their car as an agreement with Taejun. Seulgi proposes new business venture. She wants to start selling leaked final exam questions to wealthy families. They starts collecting money from those who are interested, and they are setting up a plan to steal the exam questions. The math teacher in secret hands out the exam question paper to the hospital employee at the exam setting committee. The employee fakes an urgent need to leave, saying he is needed for urgent blood delivery from Taejun's clinic, which enables get to where they were. She slips the paper into a pill. Passing it to Taejun, Seulgi and Byung-jin cross Taejun's ambulance truck. They threaten him to hand over the pills that contains the exam questions. At that moment, Jae-yi arrives. She pretends to be interested. This forces Seulgi to swallow the pill. Jae-yi secretly drugs her. Seulgi is rushed to the emergency room. Byung-jin is being pressured by angry people who have paid for the leaked exam questions. Taejun refuses to operate on Seulgi to extract the pill that contains the exam questions. The pill is extracted from Seulgi's system, and it is given to Byung-jin. He presents it to the clients that have been waiting for the exam questions, including Choi-gyong and A-ra. Their entire plans fail. Taejun gives the original exam question to Jae-yi, so the one Seulgi and Byung-jin has is useless. The question with them is also different from the real examination questions. Seulgi, due to the operation, have missed her exam and is devastated. After the exam, Choi-gyong, with her legal knowledge, helps Ye-ri to be free from the troubles of the hostess bar owner, who has been pressuring her to return back. Byung-jin, on the other hand, faces serious troubles with the clients because the exam questions turns out to be incorrect. Seulgi withdraws from the school. Jae-yi, as expected, with the correct exam script. tops her class with a perfect score, Taejun appears and is interviewed. He praises Jae-yi on her result. The interview is interrupted by a video of Jae-yi and her sister jumping into the river from a window. The next morning, Jaina is found, but Jae-yi is nowhere to be found. Seulgi is heartbroken when she sees the news. It is revealed that Jae-yi had recorded the surgery Taejun did on Seulgi, exposing Taejun's corruptions and bad deeds. The news break that Taejun attempted to steal the difficult college exam questions for his children and he is arrested. As time goes on, Jae-yi's body was never found. Taejun served his prison time before being released. Yeri starts working at a restaurant before she is scouted for a better chance. Choi Gyung, inspired by the incident with Yeri, decided to pursue law. Seulgi, on the other hand, now lives with her stepmother. She is preparing for her college entrance exam and has been studying without relying on drugs. If you enjoyed this recap, hit that like button and subscribe for more. Drop your thoughts in the comments below and see you next time.